Hey guys, Josh. So today's a nice beautiful day in Ontario. It's I think it's only 24 degrees. It's not super hot or humid out today. It's actually nice. I'm sitting in the John Deere parked in the shade here. Anyways, I was able to score a set of VersaTurfs. They're hard to come by right now in Ontario. I do have a supplier for tires and stuff, and my first supplier, all 4 tires are special order. 2 of them were shipped and the other 2 weren't shipped. Turns out the front ones are discontinued. Well, they're not available anymore. They keep telling me discontinue, but it's a brand new tire. Anyways, so my supplier billed me for them, and then they didn't ship them. They told me they couldn't get them anymore, so I called around, and I was able to find 2 more in somewhere, I think somewhere else in Ontario. They had 2 left in stock. I paid near twice what I was supposed to pay for them. Well, not twice, but I paid basically an extra $120 for the set. It's more than I wanted to spend, but I was like, I really need tires. My machine's got 210 hours on it. My turfs are done pretty well. I've gotten the they're not designed for construction stuff. I'm using like to move a lot of dirt. I have about I gotta move about 40 truckloads of dirt over time. I've been doing it for the last 3 years now. This one here, I've actually went against a piece of cement or something, a rock, and I guess I tore the threads on it, and I had a leak, so I put a plug in it, a patch plug. It's been holding fine. This one doesn't lose air. This one on this side here randomly just started leaking air. I can't find the leak anywhere. I've soap tested it and stuff. It's somewhere, I'm not sure, but it leaks about a PSI every couple hours. So anyways, next day you go to use the machine and it's out of air. So anyways, I didn't want when I originally bought the machine, I didn't want to go with the industrial tires because I have 2 friends that have these machines with the industrial tires, and my skid steer, it's the way it steers also, it just destroys the lawn, so I didn't want to go with that route. So I went with the turf tires because I use this thing in the wintertime. We get a lot of ice here, and the turfs do pretty good in the ice. They're not the best, but I think a set of chains in the back would help big time, which I think this winter I'm going to do it because I noticed this is the 3rd winter of the machine. And I do notice that or second winter, I don't remember. I think it's second winter. Anyways, whatever. I do notice the back slips a lot and spins. They're starting to get a little, they're older. They're 2018 tires. They're 3 years old. I find tires starting to slip a little bit. I do notice now I'm working with a lot of clay and all that other stuff, and I notice these get loaded up with clay, especially clay. They slide around you have to go in high gear and accelerate real hard, fast to get the clay to fly off, and then you're good to go after that. But get a little bit of mud, dirt, and these things slide everywhere. I just didn't want to buy the industrial tires in this tractor because I literally get into a pile of earth that I'm digging in, and the machine just maxes out. Like, it doesn't, the tires barely break loose. I'm on the diff lock in the rear. I'm pushing forward on my pedal trying to dig in, and the machine's just, you can hear the regulator valve just going bypassing. The machine is diving or loads up so good that I'm not breaking traction. So if I'm not breaking traction, doesn't matter how big a lug tire I have, it's not going to dig in. So that's why I was kind of like, I don't want to spend the money on the industrial tires, so I left these here. But I got 2 leaks. The back ones are fine, but the fronts take the abuse. I noticed the front ones, when I had them off, the sidewalls kind of softened them. They're a turf tire, right? They're designed yet. These VersaTurfs, I find the sidewall a lot stiffer. So I do find the VersaTurfs, the sidewalls, a lot stiffer than the turfs. So I'm gonna dismount them. I have tire machines here at home, so I'm gonna dismount them. They are made in China. The rears are actually made in the United States. I'll show you here. These are actually made in the States. There's a lot more of these in stock, the rears, but anyways. So I'm gonna see if it is. I had to do the patches on both these tires already. So I noticed the turfs, like I said, the sidewalls are really soft on them. I noticed when I load the front up with a full bucket load, I have I believe it's the 54-inch bucket on this thing here. I do have a 49-inch bucket. It's a little thinner, and I can if I'm lifting up with heavy material, I'll usually switch to my smaller bucket because I find I'm not struggling as much. But the cutting edge on it's kind of crappy. But I just want to try it out, see if the machine's not. It's not a commercial machine. It's not a big machine. It's a lawn tractor with a loader on the front. You know, it's expensive. It's a expensive lawn tractor. Anyway, so I'm gonna mount these up. I'll take them off and I'll put them side by side. I'll compare them, and I'm also gonna do a height comparison. I'll measure the height of these tires with 20 pounds in them and see the height difference. I don't know how much I've worn off them, maybe a couple millimeters, but we'll see if there's big difference in height. A couple guys online have said basically the heights there, the VersaTurfs are a little higher, which is you know, a little more ground clearance, whatever. They do have really soft rubber on them, so I'm hoping in the wintertime they grip well. They supposedly have this new design here with a thread block here, that when the tire flexes, it breaks the lug in here and it flicks it off. So that's their technology they said about the tire. Some people say they're a lot better than the R4s. I don't know about that, but anyways, let's go mount them up. Okay guys, so today's tire change day on the John Deere. I was able to score a set of VersaTurfs. These are new tire, came out 2 years ago, I guess, or a year and a half ago, but you can't get them. They're sold out everywhere. I was able to find these two no problem. These ones I had to get them from the other store, and I paid a lot more for them. These were actually cheaper than these tires, which is crazy because the size of them and the weight of them. Anyways, I don't know, supply and demand, I guess. These ones were, I think these were $10 more than these ones were. And these were made in the United States. And these ones here are made in good old China. So anyways, this tire's got two plugs in it, not for nails, basically from shearing on like rocks and stuff. So I put patch plugs in those ones there. That one's not leaking, but this one here continuously leaks. It leaks about a PSI every half hour or so. So I consistently, when I'm working, the more load I put on it, the more times I have to pump it up. I also picked up 160 pounds of Agriline. Agriline, they call it. It's basically like beet juice. It's better than beet juice. Originally I was going to use windshield washer fluid, but the issue with the windshield washer fluid is the methanol and stuff. There's a couple other chemicals they add in there to make it mix. If you get it on your grass or any of my garden, when I work on my garden and stuff, it's not good for it. A lot of farmers put calcium in the tires, which is bad. Anyways, it just destroys rims. So this stuff here, they say it's 11.2 pounds per gallon. So I picked up 14 gallons of it, so we'll see how it does. It does feel a little heavier than water. I picked a big jug up it, and it was pretty heavy. So anyways, yeah, so I'm going to weigh the tire before and after, and we'll see what happens. Oh, I forgot to mention, guys, I picked up some stuff. It's kind of like beet juice. It's called Agriline. It's environmentally friendly tire ballast. It weighs 11 pounds per gallon. A lot of people here in Ontario, it's from Quebec, a lot of people in Ontario say it's good stuff. It's not bad. It's $4 a gallon. So I picked up 14 gallons of it. So I'm going to put 7 gallons in each tire. I guess the guy said you can put 12 gallons of fluid in here, and you do the math, 12 times 11. So anyways, I don't want to put that much in there at first. I'm going to try 7 gallons per tire and see, because I do notice that when I'm going loaded up, the back of the tractor the front end's tilting a lot, which puts a big load on the front axle. It also puts a load on your tires. So basically, I'm hoping the extra 140 pounds in the back, it's far back and it's lower center of gravity also, will help counteract that. So I'm going to basically mount the tire, seat the beads on both sides, and I'll break the outside bead, and then I'll pour it in and then reflate tire. Yeah, the other thing is you gotta remember is when you do these tires, the juice, I find you gotta be very careful what you use for sealant. I'm gonna mark the tire also, because I noticed a lot of guys online, they're spinning their rims on the tires, which is not good, because over time you'll wear the tire out, and you'll take the paint, the finish off the rim, which will corrode it. So anyways, I'm gonna mark the tire. I am gonna leave the tire in the sun for probably a couple hours so it heats up and all the soap dries off it, and hope it doesn't move. So let's get to it. So I am gonna weigh the tires and see if they weigh roughly. It's zeroed out. It's not the most scientific, more accurate scale, but anyways, here it is. Here we were at the center. We were at roughly 22 pounds. I'm also gonna measure the circumference of this tire, see the difference in size. Let's see here. Okay, so tires at 20 psi, tape measures in the middle. We got 57 and a quarter roughly there. So I'll measure the height of the tire also. I'm gonna try to figure a way to do that. Probably put it against the wall and put a square on the wall. So I'll do that real quick here. Okay, so we are in the center here. We are at, from here to here, we are 18 and an eighth. So I'm gonna mount them up and see what happens. Well, I figured out why my tire wobbles so much. The sidewall is broken on this thing in a few spots, and there's lots of rubber inside, so it's been due. This tire is getting ready to pop one day, or, you know, who knows. Anyways. Okay, well, I figured out why my tire was always wobbling and stuff. Yeah, belt's broken right here. This is right here to the side here. This tire went flat. I have a plug in it somewhere. I believe this one has a plug in it. I'm pretty sure this one has a plug in it. Yeah, there's a platchet there. So, oh wow. This whole sidewall is ripped right open. Woo, buddy. Yeah, that was getting ready to blow at any time. So thank God I did them. So, I'll put them side by side here. This part of the sidewall, I'll find good parts right here. This part right here is all intact. I can squeeze that one there. And then this is a lot stiffer, but it's also a newer tire. This feels a lot stiffer in the sidewall. Like, I'm pushing down pretty decent here. Sidewall feels a lot stiffer on the VersaTurf versus this garden tire, which is like floppy. And I noticed when I pulled this tire off before, I had a slow leak in it. I did the patch on it. The inside was mint on it. This summer just took a toll on it, but just pushing down right here, it feels like this is a lot more solid tire. So anyways, I'm gonna mount it up and I'll measure it out and see how different size it is. Okay, so she's mounted up, air and pressure in it. She is at 25 pounds. It's 2 pounds heavier, not much. Anyways, tires, I'm gonna deflate the tire. I'm gonna leave it outside in the sun for a half hour, let it dry up. Because I want all the bead sealer to basically dry up and hopefully the inside tire will dry out a little bit, whatever. Half hour in the sun, it'll dry everything around. I'll flip it over for every 15 minutes, flip it over back and forth, and it'll hopefully dry out the outside rim so there's no chance of it spinning. Okay, let's see what the rear's weigh. A lot heavier probably, obviously. Let's see here, we are at some room. It's hard to see, sorry guys. 40, this one probably see better than I. 43 pounds roughly. We'll tire a little bit here. Let's see, we're at 42 pounds roughly. And let's see, there's this diameter size here. Wish I had a camera person here. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, back here. So we are at, from the cabinet to here, we are at 25 and a half. I'll measure the circumference now. Okay, so I am around the middle of the tire. I am at 81 and 3/8. So let's see what the new tire is gonna be. So at first I didn't think about this, but why not just weigh the tire off the rim? Tire weighs 24, oh, it's hard to say here, 25, roughly 25 pounds. And the other tire weighs, let's see here, these are a lot heavier. Uh, 30, 31, 32 pounds, 32 pounds. So they are a heavier tire. And I'm gonna fill them up with about 7 gallons of the ballast fluid and see what that weighs out. And then just notice now, the actual turfs are actually wider. They have an actual wider footprint than the VersaTurfs do. It's not huge, but I'm guessing probably a good. I'm gonna measure on the rim too. Probably talking a good inch and a bit here. Huh. Okay. Okay, so this tape is roughly on. Okay, so they're at 20 psi, and we're at 81 on the dot here, circumference. So they looks like I think they're smaller. Interesting. Let's put them against the wall and see how tall they are. Okay, so height-wise, we're at 25 and a half. I believe it's the same height as the other one, so they're the same height as the turfs, and they're worn down a little bit. So I'm guessing the turfs are actually a taller tire than these are. Interesting. Okay, so roughly about a ½ inch taller. It's not really, I'll put a straight edge on them, and it was about a ½ inch roughly. It's not much. It's about a ½ inch. The turfs are about a ½ inch wider, which is not huge. And I'm guessing height-wise, let's put on top here and see. A little heavier. Yeah, it's hard to see. Anyways, I'm gonna weigh it real quick and see what it weighs. Okay, so we are at 48, sorry, I'm trying to balance it here, 48 pounds roughly with a 48 pounds. And then I think these ones were, these ones were 44, 45 pounds. So they're about 5 pounds heavier roughly. Okay, here's the Agriline stuff. It's not the most scientific way of weighing it, but it looks like it's like 8 pounds for this much. I don't know. I'm wondering if I was sold water with dye in it. It has a smell. It has a certain smell to it. You can smell it. It kind of smells like windshield wash or plumbing antifreeze, but I'm not really using the accurate scale here. I'm gonna try holding up my hands and see what happens, weigh my body, and then see if I can try here. This thing's pretty much zeroed out. I weigh. Let's see what. I am 190. Let's see here. 194. I'm gonna put the ball in my hand. So the ball in my hand, I am I can't see here. 202, 203 pounds. So I'm not sure if I believe this or not. I don't know. He brought in a barrel that had some labeling on it and stuff. It wasn't like legit, so I don't know. It's pink. Kind of smells like plumber's antifreeze. I don't really have any plumber's antifreeze. I'm gonna see what plumber's antifreeze weighs for, I don't have a scale. Be curious to weigh this. Anyways, I'm gonna keep a little bit of it out and put in a bottle and put some steel inside of it and see if it corrodes the steel or not. I don't know. I'm kind of getting a little fishy here about he said it was supposed to be, they advertised as 10.9 pounds per gallon. Now, I'm wondering if that's a US gallon or Canadian gallon, because Canadian gallons is 4.24, yeah, I'm going to try to get 4.24 gallons and see what, liters to see what it weighs. Okay guys, so this scale's zeroed out. This is 500 milliliters here, I measured it. Let's see what it weighs. So it weighs 476 grams. Let's do some math. Okay, so here's the math. 300 milliliters, so 500 milliliters is half a liter. So basically 476 grams in half a liter. I times it by 8.848, gives me 4,036 grams, which works to be 8.9 pounds for a Canadian gallon. I don't know if this is right. So Monday, I'm going to actually call the company and be like, I think there's something, I don't know, maybe this guy's selling the wrong, maybe he sold me the wrong shit or something, or he's scamming people. I'm going to call the company and be like, listen, I just bought some stuff here and the weight doesn't make sense. You're telling me it's supposed to be heavier than water. Water is supposed to weigh 8.2 pounds per gallon. So anyways, let's see what math turns out to be. Okay, something's up here. I'm zeroed out. This is a bottle of water. Okay. 510 grams. And we're at the same height. There to there. Okay. Let's weigh this one. 476. I got scammed here. Water's heavier than this liquid. This liquid is supposed to be heavier. Something's up. Okay, guys, so I was wrong. I got a hold of Agriline. It's called Agriline 50. It's this stuff right here. I'll flip the camera around. So I talked to the girl on the phone, which is weird. On Saturday, she picked the phone up. It must be a small company. She picked up the phone. So she told me it was 0.983 grams per liter, which works out to be roughly, I think it was 476. So 476 times 2 is 9. I don't have a calculator in front of me, but it's like, what, 970? So I'm looking at 950. Yeah, 960, 970. So I'm pretty close to that, roughly. And she says it actually is lighter than water. So it's not the same as, what do you call it, as beet juice and stuff. So you actually need more of this stuff than you do beet juice and rim guard. So the guy kind of told me wrong. He told me it was 10.8 or 10.9 pounds per gallon, Canadian gallon, which doesn't work out the math because it works to be like 9. So I'm gonna be, I'm still putting in 7 gallons per tire. So it's gonna weigh, you know, 7 times 9 basically. So I'm looking to be like 60 some pounds in the back tire. I just kind of hoping for a little more. So maybe what I'll have to do is I'm going to have to get more, and I'm going to have to put it in the tire through the valve stem, because I don't want to keep breaking the tire bead, because I want it to seal. That's the only thing you guys have. I'm going to fill this tire up. I'm going to fill the tire up and basically set the bead and bring in the lawn, release the air pressure out of it, and let the bead, hopefully, well, I'm going to put some air in it, sorry. Leave in the sun. I want the soap, any soap, my slime I use there, lubricant, to dry out. So basically I don't get the rim spinning. And I'm going to mark the tires too. So anyways, if anybody uses stuff here, it weighs about 9 pounds per Canadian gallon. So it's a lot lighter than the beet juice. So the guy kind of lied to me. Anyways. Okay guys, so I got 6.5 gallons, or well, actually, I'd say 6.5 gallons roughly in this tire. So I'm gonna wheel it up on here and see what kind of weight I am at. You definitely feel the weight in it, but I don't think it's just what I anticipate it's gonna be. Yeah, just like okay. So I'm 103 pounds roughly with the stuff in it. So I gotta rewatch the video. It's 103 pounds weighs. So I'm wondering how it's gonna be in the tractor. We'll see. I'd be curious to see how high 6.5 gallons. I'm gonna mark the tire, and I am gonna get more probably. Yeah, I might as well fill it up. So anyways, still 103 pounds. Basically, I added 53 pounds to the back. So basically 106 pounds I'm gonna add to the back of the tractor. Actually plus the tires. So I'm probably gonna add an extra 120 pounds. Yeah, about 120 pounds extra to the back of the tractor. Is that right? Yeah, about 120 pounds extra to the back of the tractor with the tires being heavier and whatever. I'm gonna let these sit in the sun for a couple hours, just for maybe 2 hours while I eat lunch and stuff, and let the sun bake this my sealant and make sure it doesn't move. I'm gonna chalk the tire, and then once I use it, I'll check the tire pressures on it, make sure the tire doesn't spin in the hub. I made sure I dried out this side here, so I didn't use any soap. I used the special stuff I use. It turns into powder when it dries out, and it grips the tires. I've never had tires slip on this stuff. So anyways, back to work. Okay, I've already done one tire, so I added 50. So this stuff's not as heavy. He told me it was 10.9 pounds per liter. He's wrong. It actually weighs 8.9 or 9. Oh man, it's like 9 pounds per liter roughly. So he's off by a pound and 1.8 pounds each liter, which kind of pissed me off because he misled me. So anyways, I'm only adding 53 pounds to the back of my tractor, plus tires, another 4 pounds heavier. So I'm adding 100. So in total, I'm adding 130 pounds to the back of the tractor. So hopefully it helps. I didn't want to fill the tires 100% because you basically have a solid tire with no give, and you get a really rough ride. So I'm only putting in, I think it's 5/8 of the tire roughly. So we'll see how it does. Hopefully it prevents the motion, this motion. We'll see. Anyways. And I'm gonna let them sit in the sun and bake so they seal properly. Okay, so they're installed. I'm gonna try them out. They're all 20 psi. The rears are full, I think 60 or 53 pounds, or there's 50, 60 pounds of weight in the back each one. I think, no, sorry, there's 56 pounds or something in the weight in the back. So they're all done. So let's see how they do in the dirt and see how it does with the weight ballast distribution. Okay guys, I got about 3 trips down the back of my property. I have 6 acres here, and basically what I'm doing is I'm making a trail down here. So it's a bit of, I got free dirt, you can't complain. It's a lot of clay. Anyways, so far, like I said, I got about half hour. I got 4 trips on the tires. Yeah, they're good. I know this, like this hole here, this is this black earth. It's very slippery, but right now it's not really wet. I was here this morning with the tractor, and I noticed I was spinning a lot, and I had to be in full drive to get up this little hill. It's not very big. It's about 1.5 foot incline. I left it in 2-wheel drive, and I just smashed the throttle, and the tractor lifted up. I also have the about 100 and some, I don't know the actual 120 pounds in the back. The rear ballast in the tires makes a huge difference. I don't know why I didn't do this a long time ago. So basically, going on this trail, I'll flip the camera around. So this trail is about 600 feet or so, roughly. It's roughish. Like it's. I didn't grade the bulldozer yet, but it's. Okay, so this is the trail here. It's about 600, 700 feet long. It jumps around a lot. It's bumpy. I didn't grade the bulldozer yet, but I noticed already going down here, I can be in low RPMs all the way up, and I can floor it. And I'm not doing before. I would do this, and I'd bounce. The front end would just bounce, and it'd be like this, and I had to stop, and then it'd keep bouncing, and it'd come to the point where it was bringing the back end back and forth. So I noticed now, since I got the ballast in the back, basically the tractor doesn't do, like, it doesn't, when you pick the load up, it doesn't want to tilt forward as much. These tires, I noticed, someone made a comment on the forum on Facebook, and they said these squat. I'll tell you much. These sidewalls are stiffer than the turfs, but they do squat more than the turfs do. I don't know why. I've got 20 psi on them. I had 20 pounds in the turf, and I'd raise this bucket till about here, and that's the tractor. It would max out. And I even cranked the pressure up on my hydraulics a little bit. Not much. I think it was like 50 or 60 psi. That made a little bit of difference. So basic and lift up whatever I can put in the bucket. Depends. If I get a lot of clay, it weighs down a lot, and if you feel it. But I do notice with the weight, I'm going to load this up and I'll show you real quick what I mean. This tire does squat a little bit more than the turfs. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the treads don't want to release in the center. It doesn't drag out. But I notice the sides, it squishes down pretty good. I got 20 psi on the back. And you can see here, the tire has a little bit of a bulge. The turfs didn't really bulge much. It was weird because I don't know. Maybe it's because I had the extra weight in there. I have no idea. But you see a little bit of a bulge there. These do grip better in the mud compared to the turfs. They do clean out a lot easier. They were all covered in clay a couple minutes ago, and they've cleaned out. It's not really super wet clay right now. It's like kind of half and half. But I'm gonna go up the trail again. I'm gonna load it up, and I'll show you what I mean. If you've got 20 psi in the front, I think they said they go 20. They go maximum 22. Of course, I got mud in there, so you can't see what it is. Well, of course, this one here is the same thing. I'm gonna have to wash them off, but I believe it's 22 psi was the max pressure on these things. I got them at 20 right now, and I do notice they're squatting a little bit. So, and like when you turn the tire, it kind of sits. Maybe it's because the tire has so much grip, it doesn't want to release. I'm not sure. I'm gonna load it up, and I'll show you what I mean. see here, tires squatting down pretty good. The bucket is full, loaded up pretty good. I can lift it up though, so that's one thing, but I do notice these tires do cave in a bit compared to the turfs. So let's go for a ride here and sit here. Okay, you can see I have the bucket fully loaded. There is a spot right here because of grass. It's not 100% loaded, so it's all clay. The tires do well. They do squat a lot. Like I don't know, it's hard to believe, but compared to the turfs, okay, so the tires are on. I've been on for about, I've got 3.5 hours on them, and yeah, they're good. The only thing is I noticed is the front tires. Someone made a comment that they squat, they compress a lot. They do a little more than the turfs. I don't know why. I put 20 psi in the front tire. I got 20 in the back. The ballast, oh my god, I don't know why I didn't do that when I first bought the machine. Holy crap! Anybody has a tractor, even with the back, it was 600 some pounds. I was even thinking about making a cement block to put in here to add an extra 60 pounds at the far back of the machine, but just the 6.5 gallons of juice in here, it's like 130 pounds of add to the back of the machine. Big time difference. Going on the trail, I noticed when you're loaded, it's not just, you don't get the bop as much. You get a little smaller one, so I can actually go full throttle, full pedal in the trail. Before I was consistently modulating it. So anyways, so now I'm able to go full throttle, and I do notice when I dig into something, it digs in a little better, it bites in better. These tires do bite a little better. Trying to think what else. Would I swap them out if my turfs weren't toast? Probably not. But other than that, I like them. They clean. When I get some clay over here. I've hit some clay and they clear up. So that's one bonus. They don't slide around as much. I'm getting live here. So anyways. Okay guys, I've got about 3.5 hours on these tires. I like them. Like I showed in the video, the front squat, they squish down a lot. I don't know why. They should have made these a 5 ply instead of 4 ply. I still find the front is squished down a little more. I like it. It almost feels like it squishes down more than the turfs did, which is weird because the turfs didn't. They squish down, but these squish down. I'm just wondering if maybe it's because it's gripping the ground better and it's not allowing the tire to to move around, shift. I'm not sure. Anyways, I like them. Now, would I go out and if I bought the machine brand new with turfs on it, would I go out and spend the money to swap over to these? Probably not. But if you have tires that are worn out or you're buying a new machine, yeah, buy these. But if you're, like I said, if you have a brand new set of turfs in the machine, I don't know if I really make the swap it out. This machine, if this machine was 30 horsepower and this frame, maybe. But you can't break traction. Even with the turfs, I had a hard time breaking traction. I used a buddy of mine's 2017, and same thing. The relief valve doesn't allow you to push into something hard enough. So I don't know. They do work good. They do. One thing I do notice, they do clear up. Like I got clay on here, and I'll flip the camera around, but so like with the clay, they do clear out actually pretty good. I just drove through clay in the front tire here, and it's like if you just basically hit the RPMs a little bit, like you hit throttle, and then basically it will alleviate. This is the worst design ever. You can hear pressure builds up in there. Everybody knows that has a John Deere. Yeah, they're pretty good. The one thing I said, so in this area here, this is actually like it's like a black earth soil. Is very very wet. Like right now it's dry, but here it's a little wet in here. And I went through this morning with the turfs, and basically I had to put it in full. Well, here the turfs would spin a lot. When I get to here, it would spin a lot with those tires there. I basically just hammered the throttle and actually picked the front. It actually kind of catwalked a little bit because the weight shifted back. So they do grip pretty good. I have a couple spots that are it's about 2 feet higher here. So it looks like it's nothing on in the video, of course. But anyways, up and down here, no issues. So I'm impressed with the tires so far. But like I said, I don't know if I would actually like spend the money on swapping them if they're brand new. But yeah. Ugh. Anyways, guys, that's my review for now. Like I said, I got 3.5 hours on them. I am gonna use them tomorrow for another probably 6 to 8 hours tomorrow and see how I like them. My dad's gonna take the tractor tomorrow also, so I'll get his feedback on them and what he thinks about them, because I noticed he said that he got stuck a few times. He's never used a tractor probably his whole life. I don't think so. So this is first experience for him. It's a small little tractor. It's easy to move around. He's gotten it stuck twice, and basically the tires just dig in and stuff. Anyways, so tomorrow or Monday during the week, I'll do another video on basically what I think, what my actual impressions are after, like, say, 10 hours of use. I'll wash them down and see what kind of damage I have on them. What else? And then I'll see what he says too, and I'll let you guys know. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's it. Like and subscribe to the video. Like the video and subscribe, please. So guys, I've been cruising around, like I said, for about 3.5 hours. And one thing I do notice, I don't know if I said this already, the ballast and tires. I should do this when I first bought the machine. It's a night and day difference. I know it's only 130 pounds, but when I go down the trail, I notice I don't bop as much, which is a huge thing. I also notice that when I get a load in, I don't feel like I'm tiptoeing. Like I'm not, my tippy toes, leaning forward with a lot of weight in my hands. I find it's a little more neutral. So that's one thing I noticed. I am going to put probably another 2-3 gallons back there. I think you can put 12 gallons in there. I only put 6.5. So maybe I'll go down like 7 or 8 gallons in the back. That'll be like close to 80 pounds each. So 160 in the back. It'll help. I noticed that helped. And I should have did that a long time ago. So if anybody's looking at putting ballast in the back of tires in the machine, you don't have a back on the back, put it in. I notice a big difference. I also notice when you get a little bit off center, it's a little more stable. I was a little bit off center a couple times, and I noticed before it would, I get a little bit, it would start to push a little bit. I noticed it's a little more like it's like bottom and heavy. Well, your center of gravity is actually down here instead of up here. So it's actually about up, down 24 inches. So it makes a huge difference. Anyways. Okay, so the video is a couple months old. I've put about 50 hours in these tires. Sorry to upload the video earlier. I just basically been so busy with all kinds of other stuff. So basically, I used a tractor. My buddy used a tractor before and after. My dad used a tractor. We like the tires. They're a little bit grippier, but the biggest issue, the John Deere, is very underpowered. I find, like, when I get into a deep puddle, like I go to dig in, the pump, the gallons per minute on the actual pump of the motor is too small. You can't do double function. Like, you're trying to dig in and trying to you're trying to dip up or pull up, and the machine just bogs out. It's a small machine. I personally think the bucket is way too big. I have a John Deere skid steer, a 675B, and the bucket is way too big. My buddy has a New Holland L555. He has a smaller bucket on it, and I feel that the bucket is better. It's more suited for it. Like, it's too big. The John Deere skid steer will flip over whatever load. I have never had the hydraulics ever stop anything I was grabbing up with the bucket. I filled the bucket with another skid steer, and the machine just kept going. The hydraulics will flip the machine over. The biggest issue is you're going into a pile and the tires spin. You just dig down. I've tried putting chains on the tires. That didn't help. So the John Deere, someone's like, why don't you put the agricultural tires? Sorry, brain fart. The actual deep lug ones. Doesn't matter. I get into a pile, even with these ones here are actually pretty bad now. The VersaTurfs, when I get into a pile, I dig in. The machine will not spin the tires. It'll bog down on you. You can get them to spin if it's loose enough, but if it's hard packed, it won't spin. The machine's underpowered. It's a small lawn tractor. It does what it's supposed to do. I kind of wish I bought a 2032R. I will upgrade later on, but even the skid steer, I find the bucket's too big. You're trying to dig into a pile, and there's enough weight, enough power to it. Yeah, like basically, if I get into a pile with the VersaTurfs now, I notice it. My buddy used the machine last week. He said the exact same thing. He's like, when I noticed when I go digging a pile, we were digging some clay. So we're trying to get 3/4 of a bucket because we're driving it a good 1,000 feet back in the property where I can't get bigger vehicles through. So we're doing it by the John Deere. And he said he noticed that basically the VersaTurfs do dig in a little better, but they do bog the machine down a little bit. So we're going to have snow here in roughly about a month here in Canada. I have the turf still, the back one still. I have the front one still. They are corded. I'm going to try the VersaTurfs and see how they do versus the turfs. Hoping everybody online said they do pretty decently. Now for digging in, so basically I got a couple loads of clay going into it. The tires, they do load up, but I will give them this. They do clear out pretty good. Like you basically, you start spinning a little bit, I can drift the machine, and basically the mud will fling off. Versus with the turfs, you couldn't do that. You need too much RPM, and the machine doesn't have that kind of capability. So they do clear out better on it's clay or anything that's like a sticky mud. I'm impressed with them. I like them. I still think they should have a little bit more thicker sidewall on the front. But the biggest issue now, I've added the ballast to the rear. The problem is where the ballast is at the tire. I need to go behind the tire to create a leverage effect. So basically, it'll pivot off the back tire. If I get a full bucket of clay, the machine's doing this. You can see it as you drive along, and you maybe have about, you know, the tire's not even rippling, about 2 inches of tire content on the ground, and the machine actually, I have to put in full drive to get going. So I'm actually overweighted, but it's very hard to navigate that when you dig into a pile. You get into there, and you try dumping a little bit, and the machine jerks a lot. So like I said, I'm using the machine for a little more than what I should be using it for, but I kind of feel like, one thing I think I want to do is, I think it's a 54-inch bucket. I want to take a 54-inch bucket. I know it's not cheap. Cut the ends off, cut 4 inches off the bucket, make it a little smaller. I feel I'd be carrying less weight and have less digging force. Sorry, I'd have more digging force going in because I have a less surface area. So otherwise, I don't mind the tires. They're not bad. Would I go out and if I had brand new turfs and switch over to the VersaTurf and spend the money? No, the machine's not powerful enough to do that. So like I said, if anybody's looking for VersaTurfs, if they're buying a machine brand new and they're stuck between a turf and a VersaTurf, I would go with the VersaTurfs. On the grass, they don't dig up at all. I've done circles with them. I've moved engines with them on the grass, and it's kind of damp and it doesn't dig the grass up. My buddy has I think the R3s, R4s, and it digs the lawn. You just turn a little bit and it just destroys the lawn. My skid steer will destroy lawn, but that's normal. It has the R4 tires on it, so yeah, they're a good tire. Like I said, if you're buying a machine, do the VersaTurfs. If you're stuck between, if you want a turf, if you're going on your lawn a lot, I would go with the VersaTurfs. If you're not going to be doing any digging or anything, you just want to do like lawn maintenance, then you go with the turfs. But if you have property where you want to do like, you're in the mud a lot and stuff, go with the R4s, I guess. I tried both the R4s and the VersaTurfs, and the R4s do have a stiffer front sidewall. I do notice that a little bit, but I found the VersaTurfs actually cleared mud better than the R4s did, my buddies did. So I'm pretty impressed with them. So anyways, that's my video. If you have any questions, post below. I am going to be doing another video on basically, I'm going to be moving dirt in about a week roughly. My buddy's going to be moving dirt with the skid steer and my dump truck. So we will have more time on them. Like I said, I have about 50 hours on them. So anyways guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe.